Welcome to the Meet the Team podcast. I'm Brady Jolly, and I'm here with my buddy Joe. We're just going to chat today, man, learn about what you do for us, why you got in the trades, and that sort of thing. So why don't you start just by telling us about yourself, about our special guest here this morning, what you guys like to do for fun, and that sort of thing.
Yeah, so this is Lakin. She's my service dog. Got her about 4 or 5 years ago. So I've got her to help with my PTSD and anxiety from being in service. So I did 12 years in the Air Force, did 9 years at Lexington PD, had to take a disability retirement. So we just kind of hang out, and she loves to play, so play with her, keep her active.
Love it, man. What do you tell us about, like, free time? What do you like to do for fun, family, that sort of stuff?
Yeah, so we like to travel a lot. Like to go to Pigeon Forge a lot. So we're actually getting ready to go this weekend. So just like to be outside, just hanging out with family, just doing whatever.
Yep. Love it, man. Cool. And what about the side hustle? Give us a plug on the side hustle. I just got one of the candles this week.
Yeah, so my wife, she does candles. She's been doing that since I believe 2020. So she's been staying real active with that. Then
What's it called?
it's called Heaven Sent Candles.
And you can find it on what's the website?
HeavenSentCandlesShop.com. So
Good
and
stuff.
then
Cool.
we're adding. I decided to start doing some dipping my toe into some woodworking. So been making the waving American flags and can customize those. Doing
Those things
some
are sweet.
cutting boards and yeah, just a whole lot of different odds and ends things.
All right. So the service, police, now you're working here.
Yeah.
So give us a little bit more about that journey. I know you had to stop at Home Depot there for a while. That's where
Yeah.
we met you. Kind of recruited you when you were there. You were giving us great service behind the pro desk, and it was really my dad who,
Yeah.
it's like, when we posted this fleet job, my dad's like, man, Joe'd be good at that. So that's how we got you in here. But give us like a little bit about that journey and how you landed here.
Yeah, so short story is we moved up here to help my wife's dad. That didn't work out. I needed something to occupy my time, so being retired just wasn't for me. So got hired at Home Depot full time just to keep me on an even kill, and then kind of got burnt out on that one. And then that's when your dad came to me and said, "Hey, why don't you go talk to Brady and the crew and see if that'll work out for you." So
Yeah, it's awesome how it worked out. Everybody here works in the trades. I mean, your job now is a little different because you work with mainly the vehicles and a little bit of inventory and stuff. Why don't you just talk about what you do for us exactly, and then we'll talk about what you like about working for a trades company.
yeah, so it's a whole lot of everything. Yeah, so the vehicles, keeping those in line, keeping up on the maintenance, keeping them stocking all the kits for the HVAC guys. So keeping track of all the tools. Came in and basically revamped the tool room, just reorganize it so we actually knew what we had. So my goal is to eliminate as much waste as possible. So I feel like by reorganizing the tool crib, we've been able to really see what we've actually got, what we don't have, what we can get off the books that's not going to cause any issues.
So we love hiring veterans. We've had a lot of veterans. We have few veterans that work for us now. The discipline, the regiment, a lot of times it's like our most reliable people that we have. What can you tell us about your time in the service and how that helped? Tell a little bit about what you did in the service and then how that's helped now that civilian life and working for us, and how those things you learned help with that.
Yeah, so I mean, obviously the discipline definitely comes into play. That's driven into you from day one. So that's got to maintain your whole career, and that falls back on the police department as well. I was an aircraft mechanic, so tool control is a big thing. If we didn't know where the littlest tool was, we couldn't do anything with the airplane. It couldn't go anywhere until we found that tool. So that was a big thing with the tool crib here, is just maintaining that tool control so we know what we've got. The organization has to come into play with that. I try to be super organized with how I do the kits, how I do the trucks. Just today, I gave the truck maps, the old truck maps, to the plumbing crew and said, "Hey, tell me how you want your truck laid out." So they're all uniform. Everybody knows where everything is, and they can work efficiently. So, and a lot of that discipline plays into my time at the police department as well. I mean, you have to be disciplined to be a police officer. You have so much power that, and there's a reason that in the state of Kentucky you have to be 21 to be a police officer. Even at 21, there's some that aren't mature enough to handle that, but
Sure.
but it does take a lot. You're pretty much self-managed. You do have a supervisor, but there were numerous nights where I'd go into work and I'd see my supervisor at the beginning and end of shift, and that's it. Never
Sure.
see him, never talk to him unless I needed something. So yeah, I mean, you got to be self-motivated.
Sure. So, getting into now working in a trades company, I don't know if you ever really thought you'd be working at a plumbing, heating, and air company.
No.
But what's that like? Because you have a unique perspective from, coming from outside the trades and never really thinking you'd work here at a place like this to now being here. Like, what was the preconceived thoughts of what it would be like working for a trades company, and what's it actually like? What's the difference?
Yeah, honestly, I didn't really have any preconceived ideas of what would be going on. Other than after the interview, I was just thinking, okay, it's just managing the fleet and managing the tool room. It's a whole lot more to it than that. It's a lot of projects, a lot of managing things. So I don't view it as working in the trades. I view it more as, from a business standpoint, I'm here to bring my business expertise into it.
Sure.
And like I said, help minimize those costs, increase profit. So
Yeah, and the reality is we're still a small business, so you wear a lot of hats. Everybody does here. It's kind of what keeps it fun and can kind of make it stressful sometimes too, right?
yes.
But as our job, everybody in the office, everybody in roles like yours, like mine, like we're there to support the frontline staff who are actually in front of the customer. So, what way does your team? I mean, I think you're the we call it the Fifi team. I think the Fifi team does an unbelievable job of supporting our staff and just bending over backwards for them. But what does your team do specifically to make sure that the staff is ready to serve customers at the highest and best ability?
Yeah, so again, going back to the truck maps that I gave plumbing service today, if the way the truck is laid out currently is not the most efficient for them to get in and get out and minimize the time impact on the customer, then I want to know how how they want it laid out to make that more efficient for them.
Sure.
I tell Jeff all the time, efficiency equals money. So if we're not operating efficiently, we're losing money. So
Sure.
I think we do a good job of that. We try to make sure they've got the supplies they need. We do the parts runs like they need to keep them on the job, keep them working, not have to stop and leave and go to a supply house. So yeah, I think we're doing a good job in that area. There's always room for improvement. I'm not ever going to say that we're perfect at what we do. There's always a way we can improve the process.
Yeah, we talk a lot about our values here. You hear it all the time, right? Here to serve is one that I think, embodies what you guys bring and what you bring. You're there to serve the company, to serve the employees so they can serve the customer. Talk about that value or any other value that comes to mind that you guys live out every day, and how that makes an impact to you, and what those values mean to you and to your department.
Yeah, so I mean, I think the here to serve is the biggest one for us, to make sure that the technicians have what they need and getting out on the road. So, for instance, we just hired two new HVAC guys, and it was kind of a time crunch to get both of those vans ready. Um, but we did what we had to do to get it done. One's on the road, one will be on the road Friday. So
Yeah, I love it. And that ability keeps us have the ability to be nimble, right, as a company. And we want that because we have a great team that we can say, it might not even be in the hiring plan, but we might be getting a lot of leads. We're like, hey, we got to onboard somebody. Hey, can you guys get a truck ready? Yes, boom, rearrange your schedule and go. And that's here to serve. That's what it's about. It's about getting more people on the road, helping our customers. And you guys do a phenomenal job of bending over backwards to allow us to do that. So it's really cool. I want to talk about Lakin a little bit. What's it like having your dog at work every day, man? I know it's cool for us. We love having an office dog in here. What's it like for you?
yeah, I mean it's good. She gets to do her own thing. She's got her bed, so it's nice having that comfort there. I don't. She's kind of done her job for me. I've gotten to where I don't feel like I need her as much anymore, and bringing her to work is more for her now than it is for me. But yeah, it's still cool to be able to bring her in. She still has her purpose, and she still loves to play and do all that stuff. So
Yeah, and I thought it was cool when you were at Home Depot. Every time I'd be in Home Depot, I'd see you with
yeah,
her too. So it's kind of cool how that's all come full circle.
yeah, she loved it there. She finally got to where she was comfortable with a lot of the workers, and
Yep.
so yeah, and she's getting that way here.
Good.
She's getting a little more comfortable.
Good. Good. What would you say is your favorite thing about working at Jolly?
Oh gosh, no day is the same. It's always something different. I can have my week planned out on my calendar and know that I could come in on Monday and that's going to completely change. So, yeah, it's always something different, just not the same thing all the time, and I really like that.
Yep. We talk a lot about it's kind of part of our don't hesitate to educate value, where we want to get people in the trades, teach them about the trades, teach them about what we do. That's one of the reasons we have this podcast. We like educating people on what it's like to work in the trades, all the jobs. Like, when people think about working for a trades company, your job probably is not one that they would list, right? But
Yeah.
it's an extremely impactful and important job for a company like ours, especially as we grow. I especially like your perspective because of the military background. And I think that we've had such a success with the military folks that have worked here that we want to continue to lean into that and recruit military folks that are coming out. I know that's also a challenge, right? Coming out of the service to civilian life. For civilians, it's just like, oh, normal new hire. But for you guys, it's like, and I know you had jobs before here, but we've had guys who just come right out and we're their first job out of the service. What would you tell somebody who's thinking in the service, thinking about getting into the trades or working for a company like ours about the transition, about what it's like, about maybe how you could draw from their experience from the service? Like, what advice would you give somebody in that position?
First, I would say make sure that you've got everything taken care of for yourself. Make sure you're in contact with the VA. You're getting the benefits you need. If you need counseling services because of something that may have happened, get those and get to talking to somebody, because having people under you in the military is totally different than working with people in civilian life. Um, the strong-minded discipline and correction doesn't go the same in civilian life as it does in the military, and that can come across very wrong and very very abrasive. So yeah, I would definitely say get that in check, but fall back on your discipline and self motivation, and make sure that you're doing your jobs as you need to, and just bring your teamwork mindset into the job and work together with everyone, and you'll be just fine.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that just because of the regiment and the people aspect of our business and on a team, I mean, I do think that it has some really good parallels, and we've had a lot of people have such good success coming out of the service and into the trades. I'm a big proponent of that. Okay. So one question we ask everybody on the podcast, I know you're not out on a lot of jobs, but you've seen a lot. If you were out working on a plumbing job and you were either in a crawl space or in an attic, what is the last thing that you want to see in that crawl space or attic?
Crawl space, definitely a snake. Attic, I don't think I'd want to come across a raccoon.
All right, good answer. Maybe Lake can be with you to fight him off, though. That'd be all right.
Well, it's funny you mentioned that because we had a raccoon in the tool crib one day during the warehouse count. Lex found it and heard it on the wall, on the top of the wall, and it was like just hanging out in there. Opened the door to the tool crib to let her in, and she just sniffing around on the floor, no big deal. And this raccoon sitting on top of the wall, just staring at her.
Oh,
Yeah, so she had no idea. She's
yeah,
like,
it's kind of like a zoo out there. We've had cats, we've had raccoons, we've had all kinds of critters. I think the coons are under control right now, aren't they?
I think so. I keep hearing things, but I don't know if it's like subconscious or what. But
Yeah, the one time it was peeking through a vent in the office at one of our guys. This was like 4 or 5 years ago. He looks up and there's a raccoon looking at him through the vent. So I'm glad we've got that taken care of. Well, man, you're what you do for us. I know you haven't been here too long, but it's just like a huge impact. Your team and what you do is like kind of in the shadows, and it's easy to get looked over. You got guys out producing and getting 5-star reviews. Your team is helping them do that, so it doesn't go unnoticed, man. Like, it's literally of the utmost importance what you do. We couldn't run the company without it. We have 40 some trucks now.
yes, I believe that's
44,
pretty
45
accurate.
trucks. Obviously, every day there's something going on with those trucks. They all need stocked. There's a million little parts that need put in the right place, counted. I mean, it is an absolutely massive job that a lot of times is overlooked, and it just happens. It's like, my wife says, like, my laundry, sometimes it just shows up in my drawer, and I'm like, oh, that's great. So there's like a secret little something going on. That's like how it is with tools, right?
Yeah.
It's like, and it's easy to overlook that, right? But just know that, man, can't thank you enough for the hard work and like
I appreciate
your
it.
work in the shadows. It's like, it's of the utmost importance to us, and just the positivity you bring to us is awesome. So you embody what it means to be a jolly guy, man. So it's been awesome. Looking forward to working with you for a really long time.
Well, thank you.
Yeah. I think the last thing I wanted to ask you is like either a story in the trades or maybe even a story that you've seen like in your time in policing, or anything that interesting, fun, entertaining that's ever happened to you in your workplace. Anything come to mind?
All kinds of stories. So I'd already spoke to you about this one, but probably one of the most memorable events that I can think of from policing was Final Four time around UK.
2012?
Probably.
I may or may not have been there.
Along with a couple other employees here. Watch this drunk college kid decide he's wanting to scale up a telephone pole, and then was voluntold to get down with a pepper ball gun. So, yeah, that's...
I can't even imagine.
Yeah,
I was out there for the Final Four game when we won that game, and everybody on State Street rushed out into the middle of the road, couches on fire.
Yeah.
That was like mob mentality, man. And I felt bad for the police there. They all had, you guys had your riot gear and
Yeah.
everything. I think there was smoke bombs,
Probably.
or tear gas being thrown, guys getting shot with pepper, or what do they call them?
Beanbags and pepper balls. Yeah,
That was like the wildest thing I've ever seen in my life. So I hope that guy climbing on the telephone pole, I know it wasn't me. I was down there with some other employees. I hope it wasn't any of them. I don't think it was.
No, well, I told the other two employees that I didn't remember them, so that was a good thing.
That's a good thing.
Yeah, so
Well, hey, man, thanks so much for being on the podcast. Like I said, can't thank you enough for everything you've done for us.
well, thank you. I appreciate it.